3 weeks ago in Purim, we celebrated a victory some 2.5 years ago over a Persian threat, a threat that decimated our people. In the last 24 hours, we've seen the modern-day Persia, Iran, recklessly, hatefully, and disproportionately attack Israel and the Jewish people. And just like 2,500 years ago, I'm confident that Israel will prevail. Israel has been fighting Iran in the shadows and through proxies for decades, since the ascendance of the fanatical and murderous Islamist regime in the late 1970s. Their hatred for Israel, for the Jewish people, is perhaps only rivaled by the hatred for the United States and the West, including, of course, Australia. We saw the horrific extent of this barbarous hatred in graphic detail on October 7, when Iran's proxy, Hamas, launched their infamous pogrom against thousands of innocent Israelis. We've seen Iran cowardly conduct conflict through their sponsorship of Hezbollah's attacks on Israel and through the Houthis who've targeted southern Israel. But it's what we see next that matters a great deal. Whether Israel responds directly and immediately or considers other options, it is critical that Iran gets the message that while this might be the first time it has directly attacked Israel, it will also be the last. Hearteningly, we've seen Israel well supported as it thwarted the Iranian attack, with support from the US, the United Kingdom and Jordan. This morning's attack was repelled. If only we could breathe a sigh of relief and say to ourselves, it's over. But notwithstanding the pervading and mistaken belief that the key issue causing unrest in the Middle East is Palestinian suffering, which our own government seems to think it can address by rewarding terrorism at this time with public consideration of a premature declaration of statehood. Notwithstanding this, Iran's attacks have reminded us that the single biggest issue in the Middle East is the fanatical and anti-Semitic rejection of Israel's right to exist, of the right of the Jewish people to build our home in our ancient homeland. And in that vein, the support Israel received today from world leaders, including Australians, is welcome. Our Prime Minister today said Australia continues to support regional security, including that of Israel. And we welcome his comments. But we also say to him, quite clearly, the way Australia continues to support regional security, including that of Israel, matters. The way Australia does that matters. In fact, it matters a great deal. It matters the words used by a country's leaders are backed up by actions. It matters how you make sure the conflict in the Middle East doesn't continue to spill over into Australian streets. And it matters that that positions on these issues are held consistently, transparently, and with integrity, rather than those positions being subject to changing electoral conditions. Leadership matters today more than ever. And also today, more than ever, true support for Israel matters. What I do know is that our community, a community that is overwhelmingly Zionist, a community that has consistently stood behind Israel over its history, and particularly over the last 6 months, will continue to stand with Israel today, tomorrow, and always. We support Israel not only because it is the Altan land, the ancient and modern homeland of the Jewish people. We stand with Israel because Israel stands with us, with Jews, and importantly with the West, and Australia with it. We stand with Israel because Israel is at the front line of the battle against terror, tyranny, and religious fundamentalism. Simply put, we stand with Israel because it's the right thing to do. And for those reasons, for today, for tomorrow, and forever, we will continue to stand with Israel because that's what really matters. I'm Israel.